think the honorable thing for our species to do is deny our programming. Stop reproducing. Walk hand in hand into extinction. One last midnight, brothers and sisters opting out of a raw deal.
Do not trust any friends or family members. I repeat, do not trust friends.
Until you get to Ramadan. So, did someone... I want to get back to the centaur thing.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because, okay, so you had... All right, so what was the question? Cannibal?
Yeah, so my friend and my coworker sits down beside me at work and just kind of wanted me to help resolve a dispute between her and her boyfriend. So she says, suppose centaurs existed. If you ate the horse part of one, is it cannibalism?
And James and I said no.
You said no.
Question.
You really didn't hesitate at all.
Me or James?
Both
of us.
You were both.
No.
Okay.
Explain this to me.
Well, it's horse. Man, you're eating the horse ass. That's not.
Yeah.
It's pretty cut and dry.
That's where I'm at too. Like for mythical like if I'm eating a mythical creature, sorry, man, that's all. That's fair game.
I feel like you guys aren't taking this seriously. The gods fused together the rippling torso of a man and the powerful flank of a horse, and they meant it to be both things. You know what I'm saying? Like you can't just separate it like that. If you're eating the ass of a horse, it's centaur DNA, and you got to take all involved.
I would consider even eating the man part and just disregarding the fact that it was human at all.
I think when you bring up the intervention of the gods, like you muddy the water, because like you're basically giving us no choice at all. You're like they merged them together, and so of course like your conclusion flows from your premise. Like James and I innocently figured that we were talking about a horse ass and a man torso, and so if you eat the horse, my counter question was, let's assume that James and I are right. Where's the dividing line between the horse and the man? When does cannibalism start?
Right in the middle.
Doesn't. No, it doesn't. No. If I eat a mermaid, that's a fish. Sorry. I'll eat the whole damn thing. Yeah.
Oh, so what we need to be like.
That's just me. Like I don't think I can break through into cannibalism by eating mythical creatures in their entirety.
Wow. Okay. We're the opposite tact with Chris. I'm the only middle ground person here. That's funny.
That's true. Yeah, you're the radical.
You think interesting.
What I'm hearing is that my arguments are very sound, and that you just want to engage in some sophistry and argue the worst.
I think what you're talking about is centaurabalism, and it's a misplaced question.
You know what? Then okay, let's sidestep it all together.
Okay.
Would you eat like a dolphin or an octopus or like anything that has sort of culture or consciousness?
Absolutely.
What's with an octopus has culture? What is it?
Man, they're finding out that octopuses seem to have like complex emotions and culture.
I don't know. For the most part, I don't fuck with anything from the sea. I don't eat it. If it's in the sea. I don't like.
Okay. First of all, to clarify too, I haven't eaten any mythical creatures, and I don't really eat rare things either.
Not rich enough.
Well, that's a big thing. Yeah, if I was, I would. But I definitely. I don't think I'd discriminate. I think I'd eat anything I could possibly eat if I had the means.
In a survival situation, that for sure.
No, not even.
No.
I think that's maybe like. That's just like a sick thing, maybe like just like a personality trait.
You're a pure consumer,
Yeah.
Like
we're learning about you.
Yeah, I would.
Yeah, no, you're right, man. You're like.
But I would try it. That's all I'm saying. I would, But then I feel like that might I feel like your general want to eat anything could sway you into eating, things that are off base or have, feelings.
Like to the octopus.
Dolphins, yeah.
Yeah, like monkeys, because they monkeys and stuff, like they dance in front of fire. That's kind of a
They
thing. They
do?
build tools. Yeah. So I guess I'd eat a monkey. I would. I don't know. I'd eat a dolphin.
Oh,
Like,
wow.
I can talk. Well, like I've never had an opportunity, and I don't think I ever will. But like, if I'm honest with myself, and like, and if it tasted
Yeah.
good,
Like in a
I
Temple
would
of
eat.
Doom situation, you're trying
Well,
out.
that-
You're trying out monkey
Oh,
prince.
no.
I don't
Temple of
know. I
Doom
think
back.
xenophobia would kick in at that point. I just feel like this filthy rituals.
Well, I'm disappointed. I think both of you guys would eat the endless if you had a chance by these logical arguments.
Yeah, very probably. Very probably. It was hard enough to
I
eat these
just
issues.
I just think I could I think I could detach myself from feeling like I was eating human.
But I could.
It would have something to say to you about that.
Could you detach yourself from the
Ideally
wanting to
be
eat
dead.
wanting to eat anthropomorphication?
To what?
Eating. You want to eat the endless. Chris says you're saying you want to eat the endless, and I get it. They're probably delicious, and they won't stop. Get all the meat you want.
Yeah, I'd be the worst kind of rich person.
All right.
Good thing I'm not, so I can just hate on them.
All right. So Sandman.
I don't think that was conclusive, but that's okay. I actually I
Yeah, we'll have
thought
to agree to
Chris's
disagree.
arguments were a lot stronger than I expected.
about the.
I've had some time to think about it.
I don't know. I'm not sure. I think he just kind of like. Okay, fine. I think he just.
Discuss.
I think so. I think what happened is there was a shuffle. There was a
I shamed you a
sidestep.
little bit.
I think you just did like a Toro, and we ran through like a bunch of stupid bulls, and then ultimately, I don't think anything was proven here, other than you're the bravest of us all.
That's true. James is because he, yeah.
Because
Well, survival would be even worse.
Oh yeah, I'll bet
About-
you're off there.
yeah. Then we're eating rock soup. Anyway, Sandman. So what do we got here? We got 7 issues, September 1993 to May. Oh wait, September 1992 to May 1993. That's issues 41 to 49. We got Jill Thompson, noted illustrator and watercolorist, and Todd Klein on the letters. We got Daniel Vozo doing the coloring, except for 2 pages when it's all Jill Thompson, and it's fucking incredible. And then we got some Vince Locke and Dick Giordano doing the inks generally. Did I say Brief Lives? Brief Lives is the story. And yeah, what in the collections? This is like volume 7 or 6?
8.
I think it's 7.
7. Okay, we're getting inconclusive reports. 7 makes sense. Yeah. Then after this, it's World's End, and then what's
Wake?
what's the one? No, before the
There's one
Wake.
before the Wake. I forget what that was called.
I want to say the few kindly ones. There we go. So we got 3 more. There's 10. 10 minus 3, 7. So here we are. Yeah, I don't know. I'm fucking sick of this goddamn book. I'm so sick of it. I'm sick of reading it. I'm sick of thinking about it. I'm sick of slowly plodding through it step by step. That said, I really like this one. I think this is a high point in the series. Brief Lives is. I think Game of You it's shaping up to be the best one in my estimation. But this is a close second so far.
Yeah, I think this is a great one. I always remembered it as one of the high points of the series. James, this would be your first time reading it, though. What do you think?
Yeah, this one was good. This one was better. Like I think this one was just more. This is like more what I like because it was just more linear. Something was happening. It was
No
continuous. No, and the art was also consistent. There was a consistent feel. I didn't like Delirium on introduction, and she really grew on me also through this.
Yeah, she finally. I found it the first half of it so irritating because I can't stand Delirium. It's all the worst parts of Neil Gaiman, just rolled up into one little character and let loose to be popular amongst young girls. Yeah, did not care for it.
When you've had kids and you've had toddlers, I kept reading Delirium in that light, and just it didn't endear her to me. But I agree, like as it goes, that you develop a lot of sympathy for. There's a tragedy to her situation.
Yeah, I don't know if that's what does it for me. I think we'll get there, but yeah, I think she even just starts getting drawn better. I think Jill Thompson strengthens as well, and for whatever reason for good reason, I think the mesh between Gaiman and Jill Thompson, it's either the story gets stronger or the art it just feels stronger, and I'm not sure what exactly it is. I just feel that they started running on all engines.
She's fantastic. I have to say, like, I realized as I was going through this that I think at various points earlier I'd be like, oh, this isn't what Morpheus looks like, but I think I'm comparing it. Like, I feel like these are definitive versions of the characters in my mind. Just everything, just the way she conveys emotion and character are great.
Yeah, like she's so ill-served on the Invisibles.
Yeah, true.
And this is great. This is right up her alley, and she does some really great work all around. And I do wonder though. You got Vince Locke and Dick Giordano as inkers, and I don't know who was inking her on the Invisibles. I didn't pay attention. I got a feeling that factors into it too. I think she's well served by her inkers here. Not to take away from her pencils or whatever, but there's something a little extra. Like, it's so much stronger than what she produces on the Invisibles. I can't account for it. I guess she just likes drawing this more at the end of the day. Makes more sense for her. Do you like the art, James? I know we just said we really liked it, but feel free to disagree.
Yeah. No. The art was fantastic. It's consistent. It's smooth, great realized backgrounds and sort of dream states and worlds, and cities, and it was great. It's excellent. And there was like a little shift at the strip bar. The art style.
So I've got a theory about that. So, and I have no means of looking it up, but okay. So Jill Thompson, she has a master's degree in illustration and watercolor. And I know that there's at least a 2-page spread when there's all the stars and stuff. That's all her. And it's beautiful.
It's gorgeous.
And I did wonder whether or not those scenes at the strip club were also her flexing her watercolor muscles. Like, it's a very very, very deliberate shift in the art style. It's so effective. And really, I would have liked to have seen a lot more experimentation from her.
Yeah, I liked the shift in that sense. You shifted into a different world, and part of me feels like it was sort of okay. Obviously, I'm gonna throw this out there. Sure. I don't think Neil's ever been to a fucking strip bar.
Oh, funny you say that.
Yeah.
First of all, because this is fucking ridiculous and very, very, almost like fantastical and anyway, it's way worse than this. So it feels like really glazed over. But that could be from, like, I don't know if we're portraying like a shift in world, or are we portraying drug use here to glaze over, or are we just censoring it? I don't know.
That last possibility is very interesting, but I think Chris wants to say the thing that I'm thinking.
No, you go ahead, James. Tell the story.
Oh, okay. So he did go to a bunch of strip clubs. And Chris, if I get this wrong, like, he was in LA or was on some signing, and he just and people asked him, like, what do you want to do, Neil? And he was like, I want to go to a bunch of strip clubs. And so apparently they took him around to a bunch of them, but he didn't. And I think this is telling, and maybe speaks to what you're sensing, is like, he didn't stay. Like, he just went from place to place. And again, Chris said, like, maybe I'm missing part of the story, but the way he tells it is just like, he went in, he got like a sense of the vibe, and then he exited. And he didn't stay long enough to get like the proper vibe.
Yeah, there is definitely another vibe that this is it's like, and it's like really ignorant of like to the point where like I mean for a generally, well, like we've already talked about this. I'm not very good at describing it because I'm not very good with literature. But like this is he's typically doing like a feminist telling, right? Like that's where his standpoints are. And to glaze over like the worst fucking place in the world for the female animal, like in that way that's sort of almost irresponsible. I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, okay. So, well, Chris, sorry. Was there anything about the story that I got wrong, or?
Just like the way he tells it is that like he went on this bachelor thing for a friend's wedding, and then he was there, spent 15 minutes looking at the girls, then 15 minutes sort of observing the sad, sweaty men, and then he's like, great, what do we do next? And just like his friend's like, yeah, like the bus will pick us up in 2 hours. And he's like, oh no, what am I gonna do with myself? So yeah, and then proceeded later on a tour to kind of go to these places and interview some of the strippers and things like that for this issue.
Yeah.
Oh, he interviewed.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, sort of. I guess. Well, I guess so. I mean, what does that really mean? I'm sure he spoke to some of them. Like whether or not he like.
I think it comes through. I think it does come through in the treatment. It's very sex positive and not condescending at all to the women in the story.
It's true, and I think that's what James is gesturing
pointing to is irresponsible.
Yeah, well, that's whether like it's not irresponsible. As is it like it's a very specific view, and it doesn't take into account. It sort of takes into in the case of Tiffany, but generally speaking, it is very like sex work positive, and the women are finding a source of empowerment from it, like explicitly so. It's not like it's fine, as far as the depiction goes, but at the same time, like I don't know if depicting the awfulness of certain or perhaps many strip clubs would have like served this particular story.
I agree with that. I just mean like knowing what I know about them, that it just shouldn't have been told by him at all. I don't think that's just any. I don't think that like if he has any notion that like young girls or women in general read this book and that's the way he portrays a strip club, like that's just not that weird.
That's funny.
It's a hellhole.
Yeah.
It's a.
No, it doesn't have. I don't know. It doesn't.
I don't know.
Depend on the club.
That's just a weird. I got hung up on that. I don't know.
Yeah, that's funny.
Yeah,
I agree that Gaiman's the wrong person to depict like raw human sexuality. I don't think he's very good at it, and he does have a knack for horror, strangely, but he doesn't have a sense for the erotic or the deeply or the sexual. And I challenge you to find some of his work that would prove me wrong.
I don't know if I can do it.
Yeah, I think maybe that's what's missing. Like the strip club doesn't feel like a place, like they talk about sex, but it doesn't feel like a place of sex. It doesn't feel like a place of desire, despite what Jill Thompson draws, which is obvious, like all the symbols of the strip club space. I don't know.
Yes, it's no different than Frank Miller's version of a strip club either.
Yeah, I suppose that's true.
Even this is a really petty complaint, but like even the song choices, like I heard it through the grapevine, I was like, I don't know. So they're like playing Tori Amos in a fetish club. You're like, doesn't sound right.
Yeah. Like there's something missing. He's just so gentle, and it doesn't. I don't know. He wants to depict like the raw stuff. We're really avoiding talking about the book, but I really love I really love this anecdote about it's the Alan Moore anecdote about Gaiman. So Moore's writing From Hell at the time, and so he's like writing about these graphic descriptions of women being mutilated, and he's telling these stories over dinner, and Gaiman can't fucking handle it, and he's got to go out and get some air, because he just he's at the end of the day he's just a sensitive lad. And admittedly, I mean, listening to Alan Moore talk about the dissection, like the mutilation of women, is probably pretty gross because Alan Moore has like a very like robust imagination to explain things. But he just strikes me as like Gaiman's soft, and this is like, and I think maybe that's one of the things that's starting to sort of weigh on me about Sandman is just it feels so fucking soft all the time. Even when it's trying to depict something hard, it's just lightning as it goes on, you know.
That's great because that's sort of the first thing that came to my mind is like if you're gonna write baby shit soft, don't go to hard places. Like,
yeah.
That's stupid. I don't know.
No, this is still the guy though. That, like, you know, if you think back to the earlier, like more horror inflected elements of Sandman, like he's got some dark stuff, and he's not afraid to go there and depict horror, and he has a little bit of a knack for it. I just think it's an interesting contrast. Well, I don't know, strange fella. So, what's Brief Lives about?
I don't know. I guess they went looking for their brother. He's gone. He's missing. I don't know.
I guess that's it. Yeah. And
yeah, it's all about the journey, man.
It's a quest. We got Delirium kicking off, kind of wandering around like crazy, and she's lost and confused, and like their brother Destruction was the only thing that really grounded her. So she makes this connection, like, what if we went and found him? And then she's trying to get to recruit her family to help out, but no one will help.
Right. Except Dream kind of guilted into it because so the first issue is all Delirium, like her quest to try and find someone to join her on her quest, and then the second issue, I guess would have been 42, is Morpheus just acting like a fucking she has decided she no longer loves me. It's like, fuck, I hate you. I hate you.
Yeah, but you know what makes it okay is the fact that everyone knows that it's like this melodramatic brooding, like it's just sort of like this act. Mervyn makes it okay, you know, like his like, he enjoys it. Like he's just gonna make it rain on all of us for a month, and then he'll forget all about it.
Yeah, it's funny that they all know like that this is sort of his whatever, like his process.
I had a hunch, guys, and I went looking, and I found exactly what I was looking for. But Morpheus and like the sad Keanu meme, like there are people who have like put this together, and I feel like at one point Keanu would have been the perfect choice for Morpheus.
Oh my goodness. Yeah.
Absolutely, because he is very flat and sexless.
Yeah. And so yeah, it's a quest to find the brother who left Destruction, and it's also the story of how Morpheus comes to kill his son Orpheus, and how like something that's been sort of hinted at and gestured towards in stories leading up to this is, you know, Morpheus is he's going to spill family blood, and this is the story about how he finally did so, and sort of like brings a curse upon himself, which, you know, yeah.
Speaking of the curse, do we get a witch sighting in this? This is the one volume that maybe we don't, right?
Yeah, I did have my flailing towards my thesis led me to so when does Delirium decide that she's going to? What finally makes her decide she's in the rain with Mary Canby, the old hag. And she's kind of the one that kicks up. She's the one who kicks off this quest. Because she just starts talking with Delirium and she indirectly inspires it. I don't know, you know, like I was like, is that a part of the witches? But it's, you know, that's the I got.
Or maybe does it matter because they are automatically invoked by the spilling of family blood?
Yeah, I suppose so. This is like this null zone where like their curse or their witchcraft is brought to fruition. I'd be kind of curious actually if they kind of fall away after this. because I was going through World's End and I get 0 witches. There's no witches so far in like half of that.
Well, they are the kindly ones, aren't they? Basically.
Well, at World's End they don't show up, but yeah, well, the kindly ones are. Yes, that's one of their aspects, right? So they're going to come back in a big way. So yeah, I take your point. They definitely won't disappear. So they take a little break, maybe, but they're not very featured in this.
Yeah. What do you guys think of Destruction?
Like at the end?
Or like at it, just the, his character?
I like the irony of it. I think that's cute. I like that he's like the embodiment of destruction, but he's like this. He's constantly sort of trying to create, watercolors and paintings and poems that all suck. And I love that he sucks at it, and that his dog is just a real fucking dick, but to him the entire time. I like that actually. That's a great conceit. It's one of the better endless characterizations, because the rest of it are just kind of flat. And he's very joyous. We've seen him laughing like with his big Viking helmet or whatever in the past, but in this he's trimmed his beard. He's very he's like a lumberjack dad kind of. Yeah, I thought he was fun. It was sad to see him go.
Yeah, he's almost like settled down by the end of it. The dog was funny.
Yeah, Barnabas was the MVP. I think, like, just constantly amusing.
Yeah. Yeah, and I guess she ends up. Sorry, he ends up with delirium at the end. That lucky fucking dog.
Yeah.
How did you feel about Destruction?
Love him. I love the characterization, and it's interesting, like that. He has a sense that he's left because, well, they hint at the reason. It's when he sees Newton's discovered optics, right? That it's going to lead to the conversion of mass and energy and atomic energy. And he's like, oh yeah, I've seen this happen before in other worlds. And I think he just gets too close to his work. Like he actually likes the world. He likes people. He likes creation. So he just has to step away. But what I like, there's also the irony that of like leaving the Endless is like the hugest possible act of destruction, because it just creates this gaping hole in the fabric of the universe and like prevents them from really working as a unit anymore.
Yeah, and it's kind of, I mean, I know I wanted to lay this early on at the feet of Desire, like Morpheus's the fulfillment of the curse, but it's kind of Destruction who does it. It's Destruction who, in that moment, like Orpheus comes to him. If we turn our minds back, Orpheus comes to him and he's like, look, I want to go get my wife back from hell. And he was like, and he pauses, for a minute, like, I'll tell you how, kid. Go talk to your sister. Go talk to my sister, your aunt. And, and it's kind of him. I mean, it's Desire's machinations, but it's also Destruction's chaos. Delirium's intervention, like all the Endless are contributing in some respect to, I don't know where despair would fit in other than Morpheus is really sad. The fulfillment of this curse is kind of like something that all of them bring about, even though Desire is like the most sort of desirous of it to have happened.
Yeah, that's true. And even Death, like, kind of forcing Morpheus to patch the rift with Delirium. He has to go into the realm and apologize. So
yeah, fuck. I know we're just bouncing all over the place, but it's again that situation where like it's cutesy Death, and it's that big sister, putting little brother in line. He's just socially inept, and I called you sister, and she's she is one of the ways in which we are allowed to like Morpheus, because she likes him, or at least sets him straight, and calls him out on his bullshit or whatever. Like she's sort of the moral correction, and I don't know. I think I find that frustrating, because he's just so useless. he's like, and he's just always looking for help. And yeah, can't.
Yeah, she did sort of break him out of his funk though. And she like maybe not, but like kind of she was sort of like floundering or looking for anyone, but he sort of that's sort of how they showed his like whatever moral character or priority to his family.
You mean with delirium? Yeah.
Yeah. So like that, I don't know, that did sort of lean me in toward him more than the start of the story.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's true. I feel the same way. I think, yeah, obviously Morpheus is a bit of a dip, but he does things that are understandable or endearing, like, you know, just kind of backing off this quest because everyone they go looking for dies.
Yeah, which is a good move.
Yeah.
I like that was explained at the end. You know, the destruction had set up all these like this sort of booby traps behind him, and they didn't realize they were just walking into a landmine that he had or a minefield that he had set up.
Yeah, and he couldn't do anything about it unless he resumed his role, which he wasn't going to do.
Yeah. Yeah, so at least that got explained, and that was nice. What favorite parts here? You got some favorite parts? No, nobody liked it.
No, I got. I was just gonna give James a chance to go if he wanted to.
Oh, I there's like a little part. I like the part when Morpheus finally gets home and sees the necklace on Duala. I don't know why I liked that.
Right.
What, from the
when
old?
When he forgives her for, or like.
Yeah, he just sort of gives her a pass. You know, he knows what it is.
Yeah, I don't know, like parts of the, I liked Ruby, like the, you know, that scene where they
Which
wake up
the
and
driver,
yeah, and like they wake up and like she's just like started this fire from smoking and charred, and like Morpheus is just kind of like harassing the fireman, like what happened exactly? They're like, get the fuck out of here, you idiot. It's like that G.I. Joe the pork chop sandwiches video. Get out of here, you idiot.
Yeah.
Yeah, and some of the, I don't know, like there's a lot of charm to the quest. Like this is a weird one because like a lot of it, you know, it insists that character is interesting, that quirk is interesting, and I think Neil is really, you know, we've kind of talked about it not being hard, but he's really leaning on his talent for developing character, and consequently, I think in some ways it's difficult to talk about in a podcast form, but you know, like the delirium driving could be really irritating, but somehow a lot of comedy is wrung from that situation, especially when Matthew gets involved and it's like, you know, like, oh, you're gonna advise her, and you know, he's just like screaming for his life.
Yeah. I honestly like that. That is around the part where I was like, shit, okay, this is fun. We're on a road trip. That's great. And I like when he first puts Matthew, but like in. Okay, sorry, I gotta find it. Shit, it's just so deadpan. He's like, you'll find it very invigorating. You know, like, how does he?
That's right.
Yeah, you'll find many challenges. Shit. I'm almost there, but anyway, it's yeah, no, and they like at that point, because then like the cop gets all the, I don't like you, I'm gonna make you feel insects and stuff like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
I am sure you will find the experience one of great interest and variety. And yeah, and again, I think the art is improving at this point as well. Like there's just, you know, I think my favorite bit was when they go and you've already alluded to it. You know, it's another situation where they go back and the guy's like dissecting the orangutan, and it's kind of the Enlightenment is kicking in, and there's, you know, Gaiman wants to sort of. I think Gaiman's a funny fella in that he's very much an Enlightenment kind of guy. I don't think he's against reason. I don't think he's against, like, I don't know, civil society or any of the classic things associated with the Enlightenment. But he also wants to like point to its dark side, and you know, like, you know, eventually the atom bomb flows from this stuff. You know, Newton and the birth of science. Like it produces great horrors. And yeah, it's yeah, I don't know. There's not much point to me saying that other than like it. I don't think it actually brings much to the story, but it's something that he wants to talk about. I don't think it really actually adds up to anything, but it's something he wants to say.
Yeah, I think it only adds up to, giving the reason for Destruction's distancing himself.
Yeah, I suppose so. And even
Yeah,
then, I don't think I understand it, honestly. Like, I think you started to explain it, and I think I follow you. Like, when he describes all the things that he's done, like I started building the Panama Canal, and I helped fight for workers one day, and like he wants to be this positive force, but I don't like he is the representative for the entire cosmos, and I think the heliocentrism of Sandman kind of makes no sense to me. Like there's these cosmic beings, and for whatever reason they just give a shit about Earth, and the cosmology of Earth has everything to do with everything. But then they also gesture to the fact that they live on other planets and deal with other species, and like, I don't know. I'm being a fussy guy, but I don't get it. I don't know why the atom bomb should particularly disturb Destruction. And if he has seen it before, then yeah. I don't know the rules. James talked about this before. There's always like this talk of rules, but there's no rules. And
yeah, it's true.
And I don't know how to properly conceive of this world sometimes. And sometimes that's a bonus, and sometimes that's a drawback.
It's fuzzy around the edges.
Mm-hmm. The atom bomb thing though too. That's just like I don't know if that's like I feel like that's like maybe just like a hokiness to say that bothers Destruction, like that just to say it's the most destructive force that humans that are capable of like unnerving gods.
Yeah, absolutely. If you're Destruction and you're responsible for the entire universe, like you've seen black holes and supernovas like wipe out civilizations. Like that's an atom bomb would be like just like junior varsity shit.
Yeah, well, exactly. That's a funny way of putting it.
Unless he's just grossed out by our like capability for hate and destruction. I don't know. If you want to go there.
Yeah, it's possible, but we don't see that. Like we do. Like the only information we're given is that he's concerned about the atom bomb. I think it's fairly clear that that's what is him and Morpheus are talking about. And I think this goes to Gaiman's softness. Like I'm going to continue to. I think I'm just from now on going to refer to him this way because like he's like, in the face of all this destruction, we should be creative. We should be creative spirits. And like on the one hand, like, okay, fine, I totally agree, but like I think, yeah, like I mean, he kind of just wants it's a fantasy. It's like the destruction turns away from destruction. Yeah, like it's fine. It's fine, but it's just it's a very humanist perspective, which I that as a bad word.
I think the only thing that saves it from that is that like Destruction wants to turn away from it. I don't think he actually can. I think that his efforts are undermined by his nature, probably.
By his booby traps.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Well, yeah.
I wonder. Yeah, I don't know. I like there's something like his quest might be mad as well, as mad as any of the others. Because maybe he's like this thing that causes everyone to turn into Mr. Magoo around him.
Well, and even the very nature of this quest to find him, like then they put a point on it when Desire and Despair are talking at the end, but you can't go searching for Destruction without coming out scathed. And like this kicks off the end for Morpheus. So just by existing, he's gonna destroy his brother. Like
yeah.
Yeah. But at the same time, well, this is a really hard journey for Morpheus too, right? It's like, if this volume's about anything, it's about stories and endings. You have all these immortal people who are getting killed off through this, and that sense that there are a bunch of them. But then, one of the first things that happens is that Bernie guy, who's been around since like Saber-tooth tigers, I think.
Oh, I love that. Yeah.
Yeah, and he just like, pile of bricks falls on him, and like, I did pretty good, right? And then death, just that famous line, you get a lifetime. That's no more, no less, same as anyone gets. Which is like, fuck off. That's, if you got like 10,000 years, you're doing better than anybody else. But the shape of a life, the shape of a life looks the same. Like there, or if it doesn't, what this book is saying too with the gods that just kind of linger on without purpose, just kind of clinging to existence. You can extend your life without purpose. That's a sad form of being too. So like endings give stories meaning and a purpose, and that's I don't know. I think there is something profound to that.
That's fair. Yeah, because all of these gods who have survived, like they just turn into like middle management business guy. Like, who is this guy? He's a lawyer. He's probably a fucking great lawyer, though. I would never face off against this guy. Like, this guy's like, he knows all law. That would just be amazing.
I love that scene with his funeral where his son's like, I found Picasso sketches in his drawers. I found guns and knives and passports. Who is my dad?
Yeah. Yeah, but they just turn like, so Pharamond or whatever, he becomes a travel agent essentially.
Yeah.
And Ishtar, she's an erotic dancer, as we've discussed.
And holding back.
Yeah, right.
She can't dance fully. She hasn't danced properly in like 10,000 years.
Yeah. And so yeah, they just become sort of mundane, and then are swallowed up by death as a consequence. Except for that one lady, Etienne, she smells the burning gas and escapes. We don't know anything about her, and I love that. And what I don't love though is that guy who turns himself into a fucking bear.
Oh, that's weird.
It's the same story. Like, they both of them smelled gas and reacted in their own way. Like, her reaction was to jump out a window. His was to turn into a bear and create like a shadow person to like sneak off. And I think it's kind of a pacing issue with these comics. You end up, it's Gaiman wanting to explore these different cosmologies or these different experiments, but they're not always in the service of the story. Like, we could have done without that bear guy. It was just Gaiman wanting to write about the bear guy.
Yeah, that is true. That I can't remember when I came across that. Like, that's when I think I got back from my trip and I came through that and I was like, what? Wait, what? I think I read it 3 times. So I was like,
yeah,
what's going on here? What?
Yeah, and they're just like,
it was gone.
They're just dudes that Destruction hung out with, and like they might know where he is, so they gotta die, I guess.
Yeah, and 2 of them escaped, like his booby traps or whatever. But I don't know. I think it could have been done a little bit better. Like,
yeah, it's a bit. I don't know. I don't even know how to describe it. It's just like, yeah, it's a bit weak.
Yeah, but at the same time, it's okay. So I'll be kind, because like there's no shortage of like harshness for Gaiman for me, but it is a great pastiche. He's fantastic at these pastiches. Pastiche? I don't know what's the plural of pastiche. Of these various like mythologies and these ideas, and like it does bring a richness to things, but again, it just ends up not being entwined. It's just like this branch of a tree that doesn't go anywhere, or part of the maze. I don't know what the metaphor would be.
Ruby's death was proper horror.
Yeah, I like. She's these things are gonna kill me. It's all signposted, and so like her death makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, she's just like a charred corpse in the room.
Yeah, and like Chris said, there was like she was like a fun character. There was so much build up for it, and then
Yeah.
And then I because I was giving him a hard time about being soft, and then so, he'll come out with like, I don't know, it's so weird. Like sometimes he can just do the grotesquerie, like, and you're like, oh, what the fuck. And then
Yeah, but he didn't. Okay, but that was Jill Thompson drew that. Like that's not
yeah.
He had to write was like there is a charred body, draw it. I'm sure there's a good description of it. It looks like part of her face is missing from the
What
flesh.
Are you saying Jill Thompson's carrying him here?
In this particular instance, I don't know.
For these issues, yeah, this was so strong. Oh, I don't know. It was really strong for art.
Yeah. It's a very one of the things that's been, I don't know if it's been missing, but you want a lot more of it, and Brief Lives gives it to you, which is like more about the endless. Like let's show these people like it's kind of, we've got drips and drabs. Like I know we've been going like the last time we saw full on supernatural was Seasons of Mist, and
You're right.
Yeah, so we're back in that phase, and it's nice. It is kind of nice to get all these characters who are so mysterious and like spend some time with them.
Yeah. And I think Neil's smart too. Like he preserves mystery too. Like, and you're never gonna get answers to some of the stuff. But like when Delirium confronts just Destiny in the garden, and he's really, I love just putting the screws to Morpheus. Like it's a really costly journey the whole way for him. He's just like huddled in the corner because he's like, I'm gonna tell you something about yourself. Like your girl never loved you. You're gonna see her one more time. You are not going to be satisfied with this. It's all going to be bad. And he's just like, I did not wish to know that. She's just huddling in the corner. She's got to pull herself together for him. And that's, it's that element of tragedy. Like she can do this like from time to time, but it's painful to her. And then she like just kind of confronts him. Like there's things outside of Destiny. Like it and I know it. And it like scares just Destiny as well. But you're never going to find out what those things are. Or maybe like some future Sandman spinoff you will, but
okay, so this is when I'm going to be a friend of mine would accuse me of feministing at this point. It's a joke between the two of us, but this moment of Delirium's moment here is tailor-made for the girl, for the Warren Ellis victim. For the one who is so quirky and likes to dress up and dye her hair and blah blah blah, and she's so but she harbors this notion that she has mystical secrets within her, and this is the ultimate embodiment of that particular type of feminine performance that grates on me so much, because like it's just like, I can pull it together, and I'm actually I contain multitudes, but the rest of the time she's acting like a fucking idiot, and she's basically like helpless. And yeah, I don't care for it. And I don't buy it. It strikes me as a pose that is sort of, yeah, well, I guess performed by this particular character. And I find it very frustrating. And then, because then after that, like she picks up Morpheus, and then she goes back to being nothing, and we're supposed to be like, oh, she has a strong inner character. No, she doesn't. Like it's just something that you threw in there in order to like make us think that she's not, like just to add. I think it's the other example of this is when Morpheus is on the airplane, and he's talking to that little girl. And and like, oh darling, what were you saying with that man? And what did he tell you? And she's like, true things. This sense that like young girls or just like a particular type of like girl that isn't just innocent, it has access to truth in a way that the rest of the world doesn't. And fine, it's positive, it's good, it's all that stuff, but it's also so Neil Gaiman, and so. And the cynic within me feels that like this is like that's his audience. People who are going to buy that buy the Sandman. And I don't think I can escape that, and I don't. Yeah, it's
You
like
feel
it's
like
all
that's
the,
like a misrepresentation?
I don't know if it's a misrepresentation. It's a fantasy. It's like it's in the same way that like Arnold Schwarzenegger is a fantasy for men. It's a particular type of feminist fantasy that Sandman sells by the bucketful. And the
There might
more
be
I see it, the more I dislike it.
there might be some to that, although I think that I don't know, given that she's a personification of like madness,
Yeah.
like I think part of it's just the like it deepens or changes our perspective of that character, and it allows you to feel empathy. And it's also about like just the like Morpheus's shame in that moment for like because she's been forced to step into that role, and it kind of brings him back. Like when they're at the table later with Destruction, and she describes that scene, he's just like looking down, just like totally shamed.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's like it's a character moment.
Yeah, it's a character moment.
It's fine, but like but it's not like it doesn't flow from anything. It's just like it's.
I can see what you're saying to you though,
Yeah.
And like the there's that whole like manic pixie dream girl thing that is a
Yes.
type. Yeah, and
Yeah.
I think that is built into Delirium. I think if you it's so hard to say because like this is a guy who knows Tori Amos, and I feel like some of Tori Amos like bleeds into this character.
Yeah, I suppose so.
I could be wrong with that.
Yeah, I honestly I have no idea. I mean, definitely that particular type of that Tori Amos stream,
Quirkiness.
it's,
Yeah.
yeah, it's definitely all throughout this. I feel I'm coming down real hard on Gaiman this time, but maybe I'm just in a bad mood. But it's because this is a good book. Like I liked this actually a lot.
That's the great
really
thing.
like I'm being a soup dick. Like I liked this. I read it. It was fine. Like it was fine. I thought it had
we
some
just
really
sat with it for a
strong.
while. Like like we've been thinking about this one for a while. So maybe
I think that might be it.
Yeah.
Because I read this like a month ago, and then like sort of going over it again, I was like, fuck.
Yeah. That's fair.
Yeah. I don't know. I also don't know what to make of the fact that Delirium was once Delight and all that. Because my original idea was that her transformation had something to do with the atom bomb, like with the development of modernity and enlightenment and all that stuff. But I get the sense that, in the dawn times, like this is a transformation that's far older than even humanity. And I think it loses meaning as a consequence of that. Like I like the idea that she was like this punk outcast that represented like the human personification. Like we don't have Delight anymore. We have Delirium. I thought that there was something there. And I don't think Gaiman realized what he had. I think he kind of pissed it away in this story, and I was a little disappointed about that. Or maybe I was just too in love with my own thesis, but I don't know what to make of it now.
I almost wonder if it has something to do with like they talk about the fairies kind of coming to pay tribute, and I wonder if that had something to do with the change.
The 1500s, like we're talking the dawn times, like you get the impression that her transformation occurred when like the earth was still forming, or something, or Adam and Eve were out,
There's also this idea of like endlessness versus changelessness. And I think that because she's in flux, she foreshadows the idea that things like even these forms can change and have variety. And I think Destruction alludes to the fact that she'll probably continue to undergo these sorts of shifts. Yeah.
I guess one of the joys of Sandman is playing with the idea of the endless. And so like a theory that just kind of popped into my head now is just like, okay, so once upon a time in the Garden of Eden, she was Delight, and her transformation into Delirium is coterminous with the expulsion, the fall, knowledge of good and evil. But again, I don't know what that does for the larger story. I don't think it does anything. And it's again kind of a shame, but yeah. Mervin's awesome. You can say Mervin's good. Pumpkin Man.
Yeah,
No.
I like Mervin. Oh, absolutely.
Pumpkin Man? I don't.
What? You don't like Mervin?
No, there wasn't really much to that. No.
He's the only one telling it like it is.
Yes,
He's,
right.
he's our own avatar here.
I guess.
The working man.
Yeah.
No.
What the fuck was that anyway? Those two pages, right?
I think he showed up at the beginning. He shows up at the beginning and he shows up at the end.
Oh yeah, I forgot about the beginning.
Yeah.
And then somewhere in the middle, he gets called out for he's talking shit about Morpheus, and then and Lucian like, well, why are you in charge? Like, you're basically just a book guy, and then Sandman is standing right behind him and just well, he's the only one who stood by. Well, I was in prison for 100 years.
Where did you
go?
Awkward.
Yeah.
Hey, did the death of I can never pronounce his name right. Orpheus.
Orpheus, yeah.
Orpheus, yeah. The why? Like, what happened? Like, I can't understand what happened.
Oh yeah, like I agree.
He like something happened, and then there was like a Celtic cross, and then the head was dead, and there was blood all over it, but there was nothing. It was just like are you rendering something? Is this supposed to be like interpretive? Is it I don't know.
What would you have preferred if his face was fucking caved in? Because
I would. Yeah, I would.
Like,
if he reached in and just fucking pulled his face off his body or his brain, or if he reached in from the bottom, maybe I would have gone from the bottom, because then you could have delivered. You could still deliver this aesthetic and the bloody hand. But why are you gonna give me the blood if you're doing a fantasy scenario? Why don't you just fucking wave your hand over him and say he's dead?
Yeah.
I agree. Actually, I found that very. I tried not to
offended
get hung
me.
up on it, but I was like, "What?
I know.
Why is his hand bloody?"
I only have anything to say about my hang-ups on this. But.
Well, how did he end up with two bloody? Did he? Yeah, he's got two bloody hands all of a sudden.
Well, he had one, then two. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, he's holding his. No, actually, it makes no fucking sense. Like,
then when he gets back home, he's got one. Then he's got two when he gets back home.
Yeah,
Sorry.
He's just dripped in blood, and it's kind of a like, here's your witches. Actually, it's Macbeth, right? Get these. He has to wash his hands or whatever. It's a shitty Macbeth reference, but yeah. That's a good point. That's fair, and it gets to maybe this. Yeah, he's too soft. He's soft at this point. I would have liked to have seen some real horror show. I mean,
they didn't like okay, except for my strip bar crying. The other stuff, they did show it. They did horror throughout the book.
Yeah, but orangutan, there wasn't actually a lot of horror. Am I wrong? It's mostly like a quirky fucking road show, just on the road with two people.
Yeah, it was like a little sort of, I don't know if it was like a Thelma and Louise sort of.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah. That's what I was thinking too. Yeah, but every once in a while there's some dark shit, but generally speaking. Yeah. What there was something. Miriam, Orpheus, this, airplane, that, poetry, Bast. I think
Bast. Can we pin furries on Neil Gaiman?
Oh fuck!
Not. I would like
to put him under the bus for this.
Honestly, I want to. Yeah.
There's a lot of panels devoted to flirty Bast.
Yeah.
The cat lady.
Yeah.
She's got super nipples. They're just nipples for days.
Yeah, you don't want to go. You don't want to go there.
Cat?
Like
Cat?
to cat lady sex fetish.
I think she's just another like cutesy. Like again, this gets back to like who's the audience here. I don't want to say it, like it's just cat ladies. And
Oh no.
that's it. I don't know, man. It's just it's just adding up. Like I'm so cynical about this fucking book.
You might want to just you might want to just roll it back and edit out right there.
No way, man. Okay, and Gaiman doesn't like. I think he's super sincere about all of this. I think it comes from a real honest place. But when
It's just not for James.
well, I just think to myself, like, honestly, man, if I can read Poe Clan and not fly off the handle, then like I don't think I'm
That's
the one.
true. Yeah, that's true.
Like this book, I think about its existence within the pantheon of great comics works, and honestly, I think it's just a factor of sales. Like it just managed to be like a comic that didn't tank when the industry tanked, and it won some awards. It did a little thing, but like I'm growing less and less impressed with this book as we go along, and so the majority of my questions are like, how did this work? Like, why was this? What's the contingent reason for this existing? And like honestly, I think it's just audience. I think a particular type of audience member was able to find a work that spoke to them, that was of quality, and for the most part, this is a quality work. But there's so much stuff like this. Like I was reading Epic Illustrated magazine from the 80s and like rereading it recently and thinking about it, and I was like, shit, this is Sandman. Like all the stuff, like this type of comic existed decades before Sandman ever existed, and all the necessary parts were already in existence. And Gaiman's skill was to pull it all and Karen Berger's skill as well was to pull it all together into like a package that just fucking sold like McDonald's.
That's a considerable skill, and I think charm character go a long way. I don't know. That's all I got. You can count me among the audience. I still like it. Not as much as I did when I was younger.
I read it. I've read this my third time reading it. Who am I to fucking
right.
But when they're gonna go see Fairman, it's this shit. What's the name of the word for the precise moment when you realize you've actually forgotten how you felt to make love to someone you really liked a long time ago? There isn't one. Oh, I thought maybe there was. No, there isn't. It was like,
you know what the worst was? The one I hated was when Delirium shows up at Morpheus's palace, and then like she asks for like the little figures. Chocolate figures, and then there's that line about them like melting together in a spasm of raspberry cream and whatever. It's like, fuck off. This is awful writing.
You know what? And you know what? Actually, reading those interviews, he was so like Gaiman's so happy even after the fact to have written that, and I was like, dude, you fucking prick, you goddamn be honest with yourself for just a moment. But again, he's so sincere. Like I wouldn't want to break the spell for him. And I couldn't, because who am I to do so, right? But I just feel that like if he were ever to truly escape from being himself, he might actually become a better writer, because his late period stuff again in comics, don't care for it at all. But yeah, the special sauce that he's able to sell to people, it would just evaporate in the sun. People really want that experience.
But basically, you just said if he wasn't himself, then he wouldn't be himself. So that's true.
Fair. No, let me. Okay, fair. Maybe I did say that. If he wasn't himself, if he were just to like stretch out a little bit. Like again, maybe I'm not. Here's what I need to do. I need to read some contemporary Gaiman. Maybe I will do that.
Like what?
I don't know. But I just feel that like he's not stretching himself and he stays within like his particular like sphere and just operates within it and does not leave it. And that's a good sphere because it's a good money making sphere. It's a good place to be. You know, everybody wants to be on the Gaiman train. But I'm probably just being way too harsh. Totally fair.
Or, you know, and then maybe it's just, you know, not really totally for you, and that's also fair, you know, like that's
Yeah, maybe.
you're not going to connect with every author.
Yeah, I should though. I mean,
Yeah, I agree.
we're all just facets of the same being, right? So
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not lost in this. I'm lost in how much I don't care about what's happening.
no, that's a big problem, man. Because like,
it's a huge problem. Because I read a lot of shit. Whether or not some of it's good or bad, or whether or not, you know, some of it's over my head, or some of it's, you know, just fucking slapstick funnies, whatever. But like, I mean, like for something that's supposed to be what this is, like, I don't know. I'm with you in a way, you know.
Yeah. I'm being too harsh because I'm in a bad mood, and I read
you
this.
Are?
Oh.
Huh.
Yeah.
Couldn't tell.
Who did? Yeah.
No, I didn't.
Yeah, no, I get it. I like that. I like the timing of it though. So anyway, I think this is one of the better ones.
So anyway, good job.
I really do think that this is actually really good, ladies and gentlemen. And I'm so sorry for shitting on it for like all this time, but yeah, it's solid. I don't know what to say about it because it's kind of like a ABC story, right? And it's just like if you don't care for the character moments, then I can't, like, we would just have to perform it for everybody and see whether they liked it or not. And that's not a good podcast. That's not this podcast.
Yeah. No, I think that's right. I think this was weirdly going to be one that would be difficult to talk about because it is, like you said, just like straightforward plot, a lot of great character moments, but you can only go so far with that.
Yeah. So we don't. We still have a goddamn bunch of cowards listening to us, and they still haven't stepped up to the plate and started telling us what they think.
Well, you know, we got the one guy who makes a lot of comments. He listens all the time. What's his name? Hang on. Let me get his little tag name.
Overlord.
Funny.
Something.
Funny one. 69 might be Overlord.
I think it's 69. Lord.
Yeah. You know what? I like that though. Nice job. Kind of the equivalent of putting 69 with your own last name on the back of a jersey. Anyway, yeah. I mean, like, you know, the Overlord. You know, you write a lot of comments. You could write a quick essay, get some comics, man. You know.
I wonder if it's the prize that is turning people off. Do you people not want Promethea? If you don't, I have an alternative. Okay, I've got
free comics is pretty good.
Free. Oh, it's true, but tell you what, I'm going to sweeten the deal, audience members. So you get to choose between two series. You can have all the issues of Warren Ellis's The Wild Storm.
Whoa.
That's a good one. Or Promethea. The individual has already entered his chosen. They should have entered in. They should have read the fine print. Should have went into the future and decided. But yeah, it's up to you guys. You know, like the prize is out there. Like, are you afraid? Are you afraid if you run out into the field, we're going to hit you with an arrow? We're not. You know, the prize is sitting there. Just run out and grab that flag.
Are we reading these essays?
Well, yeah, I would hope so. I mean, I guess we could just like at random. But I mean, are we reading them aloud? Oh, right. Well, you can tell me. I think. Yeah. Okay. Yes.
I think the winner should be. Yeah.
Yeah. We'll censor the name. Like, we won't give any
Yeah, we didn't censor this guy's name. Oh, cut me out. Cut that out.
Oh, well, it's fine. It's not a real name.
No, it's not.
You don't know that.
It's true. One
Yeah.
time I met a guy named Nevermind.
Yeah. Seems like 56 Pussy Lord. Yeah. So anyway, you guys, whatever. This is the last time I'm gonna. I think this is literally the last time because after this, it'll. I don't know when this goes out, but the deadline is March 1st. It's up to you guys.
You have a deadline for it?
Well, because I did. I did because what if someone listens to this a year from now and thinks that it's legit, right? You know, and then they'll just get all these emails later
March
on.
1st, 2023. Yeah.
Yeah, 20.
All-
yeah, right.
All they'd get is the satisfaction of slagging us.
Which is a perfectly good
Yeah, I
satisfaction.
know.
I'm surprised
That's
more
its own
people
reward.
don't slag us too.
It's so confusing to me. Like this is easy money, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah.
And
I mean, we're such easy targets for internet trolls too.
mhm. I mean, how many times do we? The evils of capital. You know, like what the fuck are we talking about? We don't know what we're talking about.
Yeah. Sounds like a bunch of fucking poor guys, bunch of haters.
Yeah.
True.
Anyway, so that was Sandman.
Pinkos.
Yeah. And I don't know. We'll see you next time.
Now, all we need is a little energon and a lot of luck.